Our British friend Julie Hayes has sent me a video of Lorna Brown, her friend and choreographer, teaching New York Ice Theater, I believe. Ice Theater of New York. That's kind of the highest one in the United States. And she was teaching them an edge class. And so that she mentions figures, and I thought immediately of figures when she was doing it. So I'm gonna attach a link to the video of her doing this.
Left, right, left, and a big change of edge that uses the opposite axis. So Liz, can you just demonstrate that the best you can? She's just learned it as well. So start as far down as possible. Left, right, and 1, 2, and a deep, deep, come on, deep, deep, even deeper, come on. Right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right. Now across, cross, and down. And again. Okay, go.
You see them using this circle. The ones who are really doing
deep,
it.
Deep, deep, deep. Come on, Liz, round.
They need to make the short axis. The short axis of the circle. Gorgeous there, right? Look at the control.
That's it. Yeah. Really cut it. Cut the edge.
That was kind of shallow, but I think she was worried to hit someone.
Lots of knee bend.
She did lots of knee bend.
Opposite arm.
Edge exercise. And I thought, well, maybe some people are interested a little bit in school figures. So anyone who is can stay tuned. Anyone who is not can go do something else. Okay, so I have already on a piece of paper, let's see, I have drawn 2 straight lines. Can you see those? Yeah. Okay, so a patch, it used to be called patch and freestyle sessions. Patch was when you would do figures, and you usually did more patch sessions, especially in the summer when you're skating more, than freestyle sessions, because the figures are so complicated and complex. They would be like 8 and more figures on a test, and it took like a year to master. And it takes like an hour to test each level, even the lowest levels. So they had preliminary, which was, they added in like okay. But then they had first, second, third, all through 8th, okay? And unlike today with moves in the field, number one, things are not the same place on a circle now, like a loop or a bracket or a turn, they're not placed the same way on a circle or in moves in the field. So for those of us who did figures, it's not logical at all. And it's not like correct for the human body. Okay, if that makes sense. It's not when your body would automatically initiate a turn on the circle. It's forced to follow the moves in the field, or the skating skills, they now call them, patterns around a rink. So when we would have patch sessions, there's no talking. If you're having a lesson, you're whispering with your coach. Okay, it's like high concentration. You probably have seen some fluff pieces with people testing figures. Nobody talks. It's silent on the rink. Okay, no music. Good grief, no. So everyone had a scribe. You have different skates. You don't have your top toe pick because you're not jumping, and you don't want to push with your toe ever in figures. Somewhat like, did anyone use this in math? A compass. It was your scribe. Okay, everyone had a scribe, and it had a series of things to pull out depending on your height. Your circle's diameter depended on your height, because a little tiny thing couldn't be expected to push hard enough to get around someone who's 6 feet tall's circle. So it depended on your height, not your age, not your level, your height. But everyone's scribe, and they're like collector's items now. You can't find them. They like, you keep being able to extend. Okay, think of like a pole that you can keep, each level you can keep extending it. So that way you can carry it somewhere. It has a handle, a little bit different than this. So I'll show you a picture of a scribe, okay? But essentially it's like a compass, and it doesn't have like a marker on it or something, and you're skating on freshly resurfaced ice. So you don't skate across the rink to get to your patch of ice. There are 22 patches of ice on a rink. So the limit of people who can be on one is 22. That's your space for the entire freestyle. 1/22 of the rink. Okay, so there are 11 on each long side, and then 2 on each short side. Does that make sense? So you'd rotate with other people in your at your rink, so that you didn't always get the end. You can imagine the curve, the end. So you almost had to do loops. That was the only, because a loop circle is smaller than a regular circle. It's very small. But so you got assigned to patch 7 or whatever. Say it was like over there. You can't skate across somebody else's rink, because the whole thing of figures was tracing things, clean ice, clean turns, edge changes and stuff that you can see on the ice. Your coach and then the judges and everything get down, like they were standing on the ice. And do you remember moon boots? Does anyone remember those from the 80s? And like for a coach, they're standing out there, not moving on the ice for like an hour to watch your test. So they don't just see you do you do a figure, you go and talk to your coach and get ready to do the next one. And they're down like analyzing your turn. You want rabbit ears. That's a sign of like a clean 3 turn. I'll explain that in a second. So when you're practicing, you don't skate across everyone else's rink. You go around the side and then into your own. And you want to make as little extraneous marks in your own as possible, because you practice by carving out circles on your patch of ice, and working on them, like going around them so many times until it's too deep of a rut, and then you need to move your center up. But you can't go too far down the ice, because you have a partner across the way. So you can't. You have to be careful for not hitting other people in. When you start moving your center up, you just move it by like 6 inches or a foot or something, and you'd rescribe circles. You'd put new circles, and it just has like, it's sharp on the end. So it has just a thing that carves a space, and you sit there and you turn your scribe, and you're going in a circle and you're turning your scribe. And it's just putting a slightly indented space that can be seen in the ice. That's it. It's like an awl. Do you know what an awl is? It's sharp. It's sharp. It would not be allowed on an airplane now. You'd have to check it. But okay, so I'm gonna draw some circles and come back with a couple of figures and explain how they're done. And if you're bored, you can tune me out. But people, honestly, who never started with figures, and coaches are dying out who have experience teaching figures. As part of learning skating skills or moves in the field, you should be learning why and what about figures, about where they came from, because they're meant to be something that go around the rink, around the whole rink, using the turns, the loops, brackets, the rockers, the counters, all that. But it's something that doesn't require for everything to stop on a freestyle. You can do it on a freestyle session. To be careful and watch for other people, because a freestyle session is generally counterclockwise, but if someone's doing moves in the field, a lot of people warm up with that, but you have to be watching. And some of the things do a figure 8, like the junior and senior, and you have to really be watching because they go fast as well, and they're going backwards through the middle of the ring. It's kind of chaotic. When I was skating, I would be like, okay, and I would ask coaches, who's testing soon? Who of your skaters are juniors? If I didn't know, because they come flying through the middle of the rink. In the freestyle session, while people are spinning, you generally on a freestyle session, you spin in the middle, you go counterclockwise, unless you're doing a pattern like from your program. If you're doing your program, you have a colored belt on, like a stretchy band or something, but you tie it on your waist so that everyone knows you have the right of way. It's your turn and your music is playing. Sometimes there's ice dance patterns going on. It's a bit chaotic, and if you're left-handed, you're skating the opposite way into your jumps. Jumps are done usually on the end, except like I said, when you're doing a pattern from your free skate programs or your short, to make it more interesting, you position jumps in other places. And honestly, if you skate enough, you start to know where people are going, you know what music they have, you know who's left-handed. It's a smart idea just to know that. And who's doing moves in the field. I would find out from coaches who is doing moves in the field. But anyway, back to figures. I'm going to draw some circles. Be back. Someone is selling scribes. Okay, you see the handle? You're able to fold the one on the ice up so you can carry it like over your arm. But you see, can you see the little things that would twist and you could extend out the scribe? And then at the end, it's got like an ice pick, basically, an ice pick. Yeah. And that is what you are tracing your circle with on the ice. There's the scribe. They're hard to come by now. You might be able to find some on eBay or Craigslist. Okay, this is your normal. Okay, this is a serpentine, the 3 circles, and a loop circle would be much smaller. I can't remember, I think it's 1.5 times your height is a regular circle, approximately. And same with the serpentines, you have 3 of those same size circles, and the loop circle is like 6 feet across. Okay, about. So you almost don't expand your compass. You'd be like this to do your loop circle, and you'd be like that to do your other circle, okay? The main difference is when you're learning basic figures, you're going to do 1 foot push, 1 foot push, whether it's forward or backwards. 1 foot, and when you test it, you don't get to draw the figures. You have to do it the right size with nothing on the ice, and you have to try and see your own tracing and then trace over it. You do 3 on each foot and you keep switching. Okay, 3, and then you push out. You stand there and hold up your arms like a T, and this is your long axis. That would make this your short axis. And usually you get up some speed and you go down the rink, and with your heel, you draw it in the ice with your heel. Yeah, you make like a little rut. That's your long axis, because a lot of things are done on the long axis, and everything revolves the long and short axis. You notice I did it on that one too. More speed to get that. A serpentine, always, you're going to do 1.5, push, 1.5, push, 1.5, push, 1.5, push, 1.5, push, 1.5, push out when you're testing, okay? Paragraph, you're going to use the 2 circle ones, and you have to go all the way around on 1 foot. 1 push. All the way around, 1 foot. All the way around, 1 foot. So you start with this 1, 1, okay? You move up to 1.5s, and then paragraphs are the higher levels all in one. It takes a lot of power not using your toe pick. And then this is a loop circle, okay? Long axis, short axis. I would draw this. I'm not doing a very great job, but you'll often see like a push. Let's see. That would be like my left blade in a T position, and I would push onto my right foot. So the different ones are, if you do a turn, like a 3-turn here, that's what it would look like. And then you do a 3-turn, you could do this forward or backward. When you compete them, they would say you start on your left or you start on your right. Normally you'd start on your right, but sometimes in competition you'd have to start on the other foot. So for a serpentine, and then also, okay, so you can see that a 3-turn would be there. This is what a bracket looks like. It looks like a 3-turn that's going out of the circle. That's the way it looks like on paper. Okay, so this would be the 3-turn. That's a bracket. Depends what foot and what edge you are. Let's see, like to do a counter, you'd come back and I get confused between rockers and counters, but you would turn and then turn into this, and then you'd push again. You do the same, but yeah, you would change circles. You do turn and then change over here, and then double 3s. You'd mark here. You just would eyeball it and make yourself a mark. Make yourself a mark for your 3 turns. Double 3s are when you do 2 3-turns on each side. So you see I'm marking off thirds. That's roughly a third of a circle. 3-turn, 3-turn. Okay. And then serpentines, the same thing, but I'd have to get around this whole, so I'd take off, I'd do this, and this is the edge change she was just doing, like outside to inside, and you could do a 3-turn over here, and then you'd come back here and do a 3-turn on this side, and trace it well, okay? Or you could do double 3s over here. They don't have a serpentine with brackets. There is not one, okay? Drawing these terribly, but you can see it's on the third, right? Okay, my problem with moves in the field, okay? You get the idea of thirds of a circle and of 3 turns. Okay, and a counter or a bracket, or a rocker would also be at an intersection like that. At here. It would not be on a third. It would be here. Okay, a loop is gonna do, a lot of coaches would like draw a box, and then I'm not gonna draw this well at all. But a loop should go basically like that. Okay, so you're coming off of the circle here into it. It's a lobe, it's like a teardrop, okay? You don't want it to be too circular like that, and you don't want it to have a turn in the middle like that, like here, have that be a turn. It's one flowing movement, your loop, okay? And then you do it on the other foot, and you can do forward, backward. Backwards are tricky. That was not a very good loop. Okay, that's more like it. And you draw like a box, and you try and trace your loops as well. Yep, you try and get right on top of them. Okay, 3 times around those circles also. My problem with moves in the field is that, okay, so I'm coming down the ice. Okay, let's see, I'm gonna do double 3s, okay? So your coach might draw a line down the ice for you, okay? all the way down the long side of the rink, okay? No more patches, no more quiet times. This is when like rock music is playing, okay? But my problem is, okay, let's just take double threes. Well, this is what I'm gonna do. My 3 turn here, my 3 turn here, and back. And you're making a half circle here. I'd be starting here. Push, double 3. But what's the problem with that? It's not a full circle, right? These turns, I had trouble with some of the moves in the field. These turns, you don't get to wait long enough on the circle. Like, essentially, the first turn should be here, and I should still be going around. But because I'm going down the rink, down the long side of the rink, then I would do this and do double threes over here. And then, but you see how they're half circles? Your turns are way more shallow than you have the opportunity to make them here. Same with loops. A loop would be done, this is ridiculous. Okay, you have a line down the rink. Okay, you see your loop circle? It's like at the top of a circle. In loop testing, you do a change edge and you do the loop here. I want to cry. I want to cry at the sacrilege. How is that at the top of a circle where your body is in the right place to make the loop? Does this, I know there's the smaller, but does that look like that? To me, not at all. You would ride this edge and you would naturally do a loop. Your body would just do it. It's forced here. It's a change edge into a loop. You step back and you hear them grind on the ice. And oh my gosh, it's not at the right part of the circle, so it's not going to be the quality turn. That is why you don't see people having the quality and the depth of edge unless they really work for it and they understand the principles of figures. They don't have to learn them per se, but a lot of coaches will have people out there doing things on a proper circle so that they get the energy in the knee on a loop, or how the bracket really operates, or how the counter really works. And then you look at Jason, or you look at people who have these glorious turns, and it's because their body is initiating the turn or the change or the loop because it's the right timing on a proper circle. This is how all of skating started. So I'm not a huge fan of moves in the field because I think it's compromise. Yes, they're difficult. They're definitely difficult. Yeah. But it's an attempt to carry on what figures gave skaters, but it just doesn't quite. It can't. It's a flaw in the whole thing of having to circle the rink and not having the body would literally, because of you would rotate correctly and you'd be riding an edge and you use your lean and all of that, your body would just do the loop and it would be a good one. Or the 3 turn. You have to like wait for the timing to rock forward or backward on your skate depending which way you're going. And moves in the field and things, if you see people with shallow turns and loops that look forced or like spinny, or you're wondering why things look forced, or there's not a depth of edge and a quality of edge and a mastery of holding an edge like Michelle Kwan's spiral. That's because she did figures, frankly. Her change of edge spiral, that's a very hard thing to do and to control and not let your free leg swing around. And honestly, you know, this exercise that Lorna Brown was having people do, and things like that, change edge, or on the spiral, it's mastery over positioning of a person's body and total control, and I find that that's missing a lot in the younger skaters, and it was mandatory because you could not compete higher level in freestyle. You had to compete both. You had to compete figures too. So you had to devote enough time to it, but you had to be the same level in both. So that like the third test really matched what an intermediate lady or band should be doing as far as skating and their actual skating quality. And then the 6th and 7th test went for juniors, for example. The 8th test was for seniors. And it showed in the person's skating and maturing as a skater. And it wasn't just like people like me. It took people like a year to pass the test, and you could fail multiple times. It was really, really challenging. I mean, it was a major thing to pass a figure test. Major deal. Yeah. So, I hope that showed you anything of interest. I'll try and find junior moves in the field, the crisscross thing, which is like insanity. And you can imagine it on a freestyle with 25 people. Needing to be careful, and then I'll see if I can find someone doing figures, and I'll pick a picture of a scribe. This is Tyler. He's doing his junior moves in the field. He passed with distinction, so that's the highest level you can pass with. You just go from one right to the next. They don't get on the ice and look at your turns. They're watching from the side, judges. Okay, can you imagine this happening with more than one skater in the middle of a freestyle session with 25 people, and people doing laps, warming up and jumping, okay? Watch, he's going backwards through the center of the ice. On one foot. Fast, right? There have been a lot of collisions and like broken arms on this. You have to do everything both ways, so here he goes. He's gonna go the other way. Oh, this is the chalk test. The deeper the edge is, the better. Outside, inside, outside, inside, outside, inside. Junior is considered harder than senior to pass. I've seen so many failed junior tests, I can't even tell you. Now he's going to do it on the other foot. Ready? Outside, step inside, outside. This is really excellent. The weight shift, a lot of people do flats. They don't have the edge. But Jeremy Allen's wife is an ice dancer. She taught me chalk also. Okay. Yeah, those are just two on juniors. Okay, it's gonna make me cry. Oh, you see where the loop is? And how he like has to like grind himself out of it. Oh, that is. It cannot be a great loop. It just can't.
You miss here. You may throw away the championship.
Okay, do you notice the arms are low? Okay, that was him pushing out. When you are done, you cannot go close to your figure. Nope, the judges can. Do you see them looking down? You see them looking down at the ice? Yeah, you just see your name up there and where you're ranked. Yep. Okay, this is going to be a loop. Okay, do you see that? Him going the full circle?
As the other Brian watches with a
do you see the full circle? His body just kind of naturally, it happens naturally. It's not really forced. It's called a Schaefer push. It's super hard. The backward one. He can look at it far off. He cannot go up close. Nope, he has to skate away.
Can only hope Boitano doesn't break away. Boitano is happy with those numbers and something else.
It all matters the factor. It matters what placement you are.
He's retiring. Goodbye, pick your blades. Yeah, it was good. Not a bad one to retire.
Okay. All right, here we go.
The defending world champion takes his final.
Tremendous control on a loop. Do you see how that's so much more natural and slow, and the timing is just really natural to that than versus the one on the that goes all the way around the rink. I feel like it's pulled and forced.
And lucky for Orser, another skater has knocked Boitano out of second place.
Alexander Fadeev was usually the best one in figures. See if anyone else.
From Calgary. Coming up, the men's short pro.
Okay. Do we have anyone else?
As the other Brian.
See anything else? Okay.
For Brian, this is an opportunity to.
Okay. Squad. Oh. Fluff piece leading up to the short.
It is the men's.
Do you notice the control?
Figure skating. The idea to retrace your figures. You miss here. You may
It's
throw
a double
away the
three.
championship.
Okay? On the thirds. Did you see that? Do you see how it's really natural the way the body follows the curve of a circle? Somehow it's natural. I feel like the moves in the field are unnatural.